Hey, how are you? It's Mike Waters. This morning on June 22nd, 2022, we celebrated Stupid Guy Thing Day. You know, and maybe you're asking, why is there a Stupid Guy Thing Day and not a Stupid Women Thing Day? You know why? Because men are idiots. In fact, there is an analysis. This is probably about 8 years old, but an analysis shows that men are more likely to engage in stupidly risky behavior than women. So it supports, and there is a theory called the male idiot theory, and it's been indicated in studies of financial risk-taking, hospital records. So these researchers examined the data on winners of the Darwin Award over the past 20 years, and if you don't know what that is, that's basically you do something so stupid, it kills you. But they examined the data on these Darwin Award winners over the last 20 years, and they published their findings in the British Medical Journal that 88.7% of the award winners were male. Take, for instance, this terrorist who mailed a letter bomb with too few postage stamps and on its return opened his own letter and was blown away. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So the conclusion of this study, and I quote, "Men are idiots and idiots do stupid things." There you go. So now to even further prove this study, I heard from many people this morning telling me stupid guy thing stories. And let me tell you, they're pretty stupid. And I'd like to start off with, I think the best one I got 2 years ago, this is when I first did it, was from Wendy, who told me this story about her husband, Randy. And, well, it's a stupid thing that eventually knocked her out cold. So we're going to hear from Wendy. And then last year I heard from Randy, the husband. And this year I heard from Wendy again. Because, you know, I wanted to know if her husband, Randy, had done more stupid things. Okay, here we go. Let's hear from Wendy. This is the original call.
Well, I was mowing the yard, and he was setting out to bend a pole in half because it wasn't going to fit in his truck.
Yeah.
So as I walked underneath our kids' swing set, he decided to crack that pole over the top of the swing set, thought it would fold.
Yeah.
And instead, it hit me upside of the head.
Oh, no.
And knocked me out cold.
Wow.
And the neighbor was watching over the fence.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, my God, is she all right? Should we call an ambulance?" And he said, "No, she's fine."
Yeah, you were out cold.
Yeah.
I'll bet he's still paying for that, isn't he?
No, not so much. I kind of forget about it until we bring up something stupid that he does.
Well, right. I'm glad I reminded you of that this morning. Hey, now here's Randy from last year telling his side of the story.
Well, we were in our early 20s, and I had a house with cleaning up the backyard, and there was a pole about 15, 18 feet long, and I thought, well, I'll just bend this over the kids' swing set, and then I can get it in my pickup.
Sure.
Well, my wife happened me walking by, and I wasn't paying no attention. I jumped on the pipe, and the swing set tipped over and hit her in the back of the head and knocked her out.
Jeez. And then the neighbor.
Yeah, my neighbor. Yeah, he was watching. He said, "Yeah, you need an ambulance?" I said, "Nah, she'll be all right once she wakes up."
Yeah, once she wakes up. Oh, boy.
I laughed and crap, and I went to help her. You know, she was unconscious, and then she kind of come out of it. And
Yeah.
then I told her what happened, and yeah, needless to say, she wasn't very happy with me. I haven't done anything that stupid since then.
Oh, haven't you, Randy? Well, fast forward to this morning, and Wendy calls again. It was her turn, you know. So, hello, Wendy. Long time no talk.
He's trying to clarify things and make it not so bad.
Well, that's what stupid guys do, you know.
That was a long time ago, but I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Well, you know, he said he hasn't done anything stupid since. So, can you confirm or deny that?
No, he's done stupid things since.
Can I get another story from you, Wendy?
He's left plugs out of the boat and dang near sunk the boat and, stupid things like that, but nothing quite that extreme.
Well, I think leaving the plug out of a boat, I think that's really a stupid guy thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've heard the other guys do it before, but yeah, that was definitely a stupid thing, but I still have to say the pole and the swing set was the worst.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine something being dumber than that. I mean, he knocked you out cold. That's pretty extreme.
And I had a heck of a goose egg in my head, let me tell you. And the neighbor witnessed the whole thing.
Well, yeah, he was concerned, and your husband didn't really seem to be.
Gosh, should we take her to the hospital? Nah, she'll be fine.
And they lived happily ever after. But moving on, I got several more calls this morning regarding stupid guys doing stupid guy things.
My stupid uncles, my mother told me when they were young and they lived in the country, they decided that they were going to make their own airplane, put it on the roof of the garage, and put their younger brother in it and pushed it off. Little brother broke his collarbone.
I don't know if anybody's going to beat that story.
So they also pulled another good one. They had a train track that went through the pasture. There was a bunch of railroad ties laying there. They thought they would stack the railroad ties on the track, and they derailed the train in the pasture.
You know what? I didn't think it could get worse, but it got worse.
Yeah.
We have planes, we have trains. Do we have any automobiles in any of these stories?
No, but they one time hooked the cat milk pan to the electric fencer, and every time the cat would take a lick, he'd get a shot.
So these are your uncles?
My mom grew up in a large family.
Well, they say if you have a lot of kids, the brains are spread a little bit thin.
What do you do if your ladder doesn't reach?
Boy, being a stupid guy, you know what I would say? Get the nearest neighbor who's a guy, and you have them stand on the ladder, and then you stand on his shoulders. And if that doesn't work, you grab more neighbors or whatever you need to get to where you need to go. Why do you ask?
Well, when my 40-foot ladder wouldn't reach to shingle a church steeple,
Yeah.
I chained another 14-foot ladder to it.
Oh, well, you know what? I guess that works too. That seems pretty smart. I'll bet that worked, right?
It did.
Yeah.
And I ended up using it a second time to work on a grain bin.
Wow, see? We're not so stupid as men. How did the second time go? I'm just curious.
Well, it was pretty good. I was trying to take a sign off for sentimental reasons.
Yeah?
And my mother and wife were watching from a neighbor's yard, and my mother was telling the neighbor about the time I had worked on the steeple. And as I was coming down, my wife said to my mother, don't you see the chain this time?
Well, and if I'm being brutally honest, that is a stupid thing. If you're doing it in the proximity of a church, that covers you.
I think so.
Yep, I think that's it. Thank the Lord and pass the grits.
That's right.
When my boy was like 4 or 5 years old, I was teaching him the difference between poisonous, non-poisonous snakes and how to catch them.
Yeah.
And when he figured it out, I says, "Why don't you go in the house and show your mom?" He went in the back door. I stood out in the backyard for a second. I heard her scream. I heard him scream. He come running out too and busted the screen door out trying to get out of the house. You know how long it takes to find a snake that your son dropped in the basement?
Oh, no.
I still get reminded of it today.
Can we stop talking about snakes?
My wife and I were trying to put some T-posts in for some fencing out on acreage we had for our horses.
Okay.
Keep 'em in. And we had a little bit of a slope and bank alongside this creek, and I couldn't quite get the sledgehammer up high enough to pound it in. So I talked her into sitting on my shoulders, and I held the post. She was swinging it, pounding it in, got the first one in fine. The second post, when she took a swing, she missed the post, came down and hit me in the face.
Oh, are you serious? A sledgehammer in the face. So you were dumb and got dumber.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, why don't you get on my shoulders and start swinging the hammer? And you knew. It's like with the nail and your thumb. You're going to hit it a time or two, and that'll be fine. But your wife strikes you in the face. So how was your face after
It was
this?
okay. I had a little bit of a noggin for a little while, but
Yeah.
it was a 16-pound sledgehammer.
Wow. Well, I'll bet it was an improvement on your looks.
I never asked.
No, that's probably good. All I can hear now is I have to play Sledgehammer for you, Peter Gabriel, because that's all I'm hearing in my head as we're chatting.
That sounds good.
Is this a sledgehammer?
Is what a sledgehammer?
Weekday mornings, 5:30 to 10.
105.7